Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. And today we'll be talking about variables in Java, why to use them, and just to give you a motivation to use them. Let's take a look at this program. In this program, our goal is to output the name of the user, the age, and the age in dog years, which is their age divided by 7. Now let's run this and see what we get. Right, we get the expected output, which is right here, but my name is not Brett, and I'm 18, so probably my dog years would be different. So if I want to use this program, I would have to type everything again. And I don't know the dog years. I don't want to calculate it. Now, this makes it very difficult for the program to be used by other users, and it limits the accessibility of the program. But there are much more problems with this program. Now, how can we solve this? We need to make this program more simply and more accessible to other programmers and users. Now, let's talk about variables. What are variables? Variables are basically just placeholders for some values of different data types. And softwares need data, and we need to make data accessible to programs. And how do we declare variables goes like this. We need a type, and we need a variable name, which should be defining what is the purpose of this variable. So we shouldn't just go and say WASD equals 2. No, that is not good. We can say uh, age equals 2, which would be for a baby or something. Now, this is much more explaining than WASD. Don't do that. Explain your variables in a manner. Now, I said type, but we don't know types yet. So let's go back to our code. Now here we started to use different variables. Now we have the variable name, which is very explaining age and dog years. Now dog years is age divided by 7. Now if I want to use this program to me, I could just edit these and I wouldn't have to calculate dog years because it is difficult to do it by hand. Now let's see what's going to happen. Yes, in fact, we do get the expected outcome, which is my name, my age in dog years, which is much more accurate than this one, and this one was wrong. Now, we have string, int, and double. But what do those mean? What is a string? What are we storing there? So let's take a look at some data types in Java. Now, an integer, an int, is used to store whole numbers. These numbers don't have decimal points. They're just whole numbers like 13, 16, 17, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is integers. Now, strings are used to store words and sentences like hello, Star Wars, there, etc. Now, doubles are for more accuracy numbers. They include decimal numbers, as you can see here. Doubles are used to store decimal numbers, and some examples are 1.62, 18.39, and so on. And data types are not just limited to these. There are more data types like float, char, boolean, byte, short, long, but these three are the most common ones, and maybe char and boolean, you would use them. But just for today's lecture, let's just stick to these three. Now, let's understand data types better. Now, it is appropriate to store your glasses in a glass case so they wouldn't be smashed when hitting something. They should be in some hard shell, be protected. And just as the same motive, you should store your laptop in a soft bag rather than just a grocery bag. And you should store your food in a container, probably in a fridge, so it wouldn't get any germs and go bad. Now, this is what we want in our program. We don't want to store a name in an integer. And if we were to do this, let's try it. What would happen? Now we get an error saying incompatible types. String cannot be converted to an integer. Now this makes a lot of sense because a word is not a number, even though it includes a number in it, but the way the memory stores the data values is different from what we think, so we cannot do that. Now, just like this, we shouldn't put our laptop in a glass case, and we shouldn't put our food in a laptop case, and so on. We should use appropriate data types to store the respective data types. Now, let's take a look at the benefit of variables. Now, if we didn't have this dog years variable right here, which is dividing our age by 7, which is very fast. Now, let's say I went back in time and now my age is 12, but now dog years is going to be automatically calculated. Let's see. Now my age in dog years is just 1.7 and 14 and so on. Now this is just like what you have been seeing in math. Now in math we have equations, very complex equations, but now let's take y equals x plus 5, y equals x minus 4, and so on. Now y can be changed in according to x. Now this gives us great flexibility because we don't want to just hard code any value. Now when x is 1, y is 6. When x is 2, y is 7. Now we don't have to calculate y explicitly. We can just say it like this and make it really easy. And we don't have to type the literal age like 12 here or 18 here. We can just say age. And this is great for variables because we can use variables to calculate other variables in Java. Now let's talk about how variables are actually stored in memory. And memory is what allows the program to be run. And it is where all of the program's data is stored in while it's executing. Now let's take a look at this. Now name is stored as a word in memory location 1024. This is just a random number, we don't know it. And age is stored right under name as a number, as an integer, at position 1025. Okay, this can be a coincidence, but then there are some blank spaces here. And we skip all the way to memory location 3034. And we store dog years there, which is a decimal number, which is a double, basically. And that is simply variables.